Sorry, I'm trying to figure out my tripod here to set my phone on it so I can operate a little bit easier. But what is going on, Wilson Auto Detailing community? Glad you guys are here. Sorry, I had a little weird intro there. Not very prepared. Anyways, guys, check it out. I'm actually about to go home for the day, about to be done with detailing. However, let me flip the camera around. This is the Jeep that I just got finished doing. It's a 2016 Jeep Wrangler. I need to set these down, I forgot. But anyways, the reason I want to do this live stream real fast is because when you're dealing with things like Jeeps, it actually represents something that is very, is always kind of difficult to problem solve. What's up, the Zealous Dad? What's up, High Def Detail? Yes, so check that out. Really awesome Jeep. I'm actually about to pack up all my stuff. I have everything kind of scattered around here, but basically Jeeps represent a difficult thing because there's so many different areas of a Jeep, specifically on the outside. So I'll show you guys the inside, but specifically on the outside, there are so many different parts of this Jeep. So you have, the Zealous Dad says it's looking sharp, so yes, agreed. But like in these cracks and crevices, right, it's difficult to get in here. It's difficult to get in between these window slots. It's difficult to get in between these handles. JB, what's up? It's difficult to get in these spaces around here. Trap Cracker says, I have a jacked up Jeep, black Jeep Wrangler like that, and it's a pain to detail, so many nooks and crannies. Yeah, exactly. So obviously the Jeep looks good now because I just got done detailing it, but Jeeps, and not only Jeeps, but black Jeeps are a love-hate, right? Because they look fantastic when they're done like this, but they're so difficult to get like this. And so, you know, you're not just dealing with this, you're dealing with these you know, wheel wells that are jacked up right here, and there's streaks, the dressing is still drying and stuff, but then you're dealing with these huge wheels. Francisco says, what's happening? Just got off work, 2 details today, now enjoying this video. Cheers from Fresno, California. Love it, Fresno, California. So anyways, guys, Jose says, how long did it take you to finish? This was about a 5-hour job. Milenix Auto Detail says, Jeeps are a headache for sure. Yeah, so I just wanted to highlight this for you guys. Maybe I'll pack my stuff up as I'm talking to you. But basically, let me set my tripod up. Basically, it's a good representation. These Jeeps are a good representation of, sorry guys, of a lot of things that are kind of characteristic in the detailing world, in that there's so many problem-solving opportunities. And what I mean by that is, before I started detailing today, I opened up my one of my big buckets right here full of all my detailing supplies, and one of my detailing bottles of my tire dressing had busted, and it got everywhere. And so, like, before I even started today, there were some difficulties. There was some stuff I had to fix and clean before I could even get started. And then I have to deal with this Jeep with all these nooks and crannies, especially on the outside. You know, you have the big tire on the back. You have to clean that. So there's just all these different things that happen. You know, normally when you're thinking about cleaning tires, you're like, oh, I'm just going to clean the 4 tires. But then you got to think a Jeep has 5 tires. It always has one on the back. So, you know, that's another problem-solving moment. It's like, how do you clean the big tire on the back without getting, and then how do you dress it without getting tire dressing all over the paint? Or do you do it before you clean the paint so that you do get tire dressing all over the paint, but you just clean it later? You know, all these problem-solving areas, all these problem-solving opportunities. And so if you don't like problem-solving, detailing is not your thing, you know what I'm saying? And so you got to kind of, with these Jeeps, I'll give you guys an example of something that I kind of had to work through today in particular. Because it's black paint, and because it's a Jeep, if you know anything about Jeeps, then you know that, if you know anything about black paint, then you know that it is a bear to deal with. So black paint is very, very difficult to deal with. And so, not to mention when it's a Jeep, it's even more difficult because Jeeps tend to go off-roading, they tend to get mud everywhere, they tend to get kind of beat up. And so when black paint gets beat up, well, black paint shows every single imperfection ever. And so Frank says, woohoo, caught you live. Yes, you did. So anyways, guys, black paint represents enough challenges in and of itself, but when it's on a Jeep, it's even more challenging because you have all these bugs, all these dirts, or all the dirt, all the grease, all the grime, and then if it's not a maintenance client, Abel says, "What's up?" from Brooklyn, New York. And then if the client has not taken care of the paint properly, then all of a sudden, you know, not only does the black paint make things difficult on any car, but it specifically makes it difficult on this because stuff starts etching into the paint when it's not taken care of. And so it's kind of like, man, I have enough things to problem solve just with a Jeep in the first place. That, yeah, Trap Cracker says it's so vertical that it's a bug magnet. Exactly. So it's like you have enough issues to deal with the black paint just in general, but then you have all these bugs that etch in. So anyways, one of the things that I kind of had to talk through here is that this Jeep, yes, it's a 2016, but it's very obvious that the previous owner, whoever it was, did not maintain the paint. And so I can clean it all day long and detail it, but unless I polish it, there's going to be all these imperfections in it anyways. And so it's like problem solving right there. Like, do I continue to spend my time on the things that I know that I can't really fix without polishing, or do I just clean it to the best of its ability and then go ahead and move on and communicate that later? Do I stay on it to try to keep cleaning it to make sure that it's just that it's an etching that it can't be fixed? All those things run through your head when you're detailing because you want to make sure you're doing the best job, but especially on a job like this because it's just so difficult. The nature of the beast is so just difficult, you know what I mean? And so let me go ahead and flip the camera around. I'm about to sign off because I gotta finish packing up and kind of get this done, but check this out. Here's another problem solving. So you step back and you're like, okay, the Jeep looks clean, but then you're like, wait a second, what about down there? Because if I'm standing back here, I can see this almost like where the axle sits up here, but you can see down here. And so check that out. This has to be cleaned. Not only does it have to be cleaned, it has to be dressed, because if it's just cleaned, it doesn't look very good. It's very dull. It's kind of still dirty. So now I have to dress this as well. So it's like you think you're detailing it the right way. You think that you got everything, but then all of a sudden you realize, wait, I've got this down here as well. And so it's just things like that. You're doing the wheel wells, and you're like, oh, the wheel wells look great, but then wait a second, there's this white hydraulic right here, and now it really shows the dirt, and I didn't really clean that. Now I have to go back in, wipe it up with a microfiber towel. So anyways, it just represents so many different problem-solving opportunities, and I'll kind of show you guys what I'm talking about. With Jeeps in particular, there's certain areas that take the brunt of the hit. This front fender is going to be one of them. The front is very obviously going to be one of them. Now this has black trim, which is going to help because black trim doesn't really get etched into very much. But then not only is the front fender, but right back here, this is going to be another big problem area because this is going to get bugs, it's going to get rocks, it's going to get all that stuff. And so, Christopher, no, I just started this live stream. I did not I didn't live stream this whole detail. But anyways, it's the same exact thing on this side. This back fender, this front part of it right here is going to get destroyed. So can you guys see this? So like, check this out. This cannot be cleaned. These are rock chips. These are etching. So I'm running my finger over it and it dips into the paint. That's how I know. That cannot be detailed away. And so it's just things like that where it's like you gotta constantly be thinking, constantly be on your feet, trial and error, experimenting with things. What's working, what's not working, to get results like this. And so let's see. Once again, this was about, a 5-hour job, so it wasn't a quick job, but there were points where it was a little frustrating because you're like, man, this isn't working, and this isn't working, and this isn't working. So like, I'm running out of options. Like, what kind of products do I use? What do I do? Da, da, da. And then on top of the outside of this Jeep, there was a milk spill inside. And so JB says, do you ever do ceramic coatings? And the answer to that question is yes. And then I'm also going to be doing some videos on those coming up in the next few months. So I just wanted to let you guys know about that. Anyways, so basically, guys, what I'm trying to say is detailing, you got to constantly be thinking on your feet. So I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go. Glad you guys tuned in for this live stream. If you're watching on the replay, definitely give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, subscribe to this channel because I live stream my details all the time, and I post videos like every day pretty much. There's a few times where I might miss a day, but I pretty much post videos every day, and lots of value in live streams like this because this is on location while everything's happening, and so there's no editing whatsoever, so everything you see is just total, you know, real life stuff. So it's definitely value in subscribing to this channel. But if you don't want to subscribe to this channel, then do not feel obligated, because this is America, you can do whatever you want. So anyways, guys, I will catch you on the flippity flip.